So right now I'm taking a deep breath and we're going to introduce Andy Kitzmann. He is the Assistant Director over at the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor. Did I get it right?
You got it. You nailed it.
And no teleprompter. How about that? Tell me a little bit about it. I know that we're so fortunate to have the Erie Canal right in our back door, so to speak.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, the canal opened in 1825, and the neat thing about the canal and its relationship with New York is that it helped to tell the story of the nation. It was this great engine that brought people and commercial goods and industry and innovation and industry to the region.
Mm-hmm. And a song too, right?
And a song. You got to have a song. I'm not going to sing it though. Okay. I've tried that. It doesn't work. But in 1825, New York City was the 6th largest port in the world. It was fair to middling. It was, not really all that big deal. Within a couple of years of opening, the canal had exploded. New York was #1 in the nation. It was fast becoming one of the largest ports in the world, and it launched our Empire State.
Mm-hmm. And that's how it got its name.
And that's how it got its state. Yeah, the Empire State. I mean, it became this lifeblood across the top of the state, where you've got people going across one way, you've got industry, you've got goods and materials coming back the other way. But the cool thing is that it wasn't an 1825 story. It's a story that we have today. It's right in your backyard right now.
So, well, you brought some slides.
And I brought some slides, so let's take some
Let's
slides.
talk about that.
Absolutely. So why don't you pop over to the next one?
Oh, wow.
And that's the United States, because we like to talk about our national story. And the national story is important for a National Heritage Corridor. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is the Heritage Corridor as it is in upstate New York right now. The green areas in the map are what we call the Erie Canalway National Heritage Corridor. It's a corridor that was designated by an act of Congress. It's administered through the National Park Service and the Department of the Interior. And it was designated because of that significant story that I started the conversation with. There are 49 national heritage areas in the United States, and each one of those heritage areas has some significant piece of our national cultural
what
story.
Happened.
Yeah. So what we like to do, and if we want to pop over to the next slide here, is we like to think about the canal within the context of the different communities.
Mm-hmm. Look, this is Schenectady. I looked at that slide very carefully last night, and I could not believe the trees that were in those communities. I mean, in those blocks.
Sure.
And that was in 1825, and my grandfather came to this area just at the turn of the century from Italy.
Yep.
And was naturalized in 1909. So I'm sure if he's not alive, but it would have been interesting to have talked to him had I thought about it when I was a kid, right?
Well, the trees are interesting because things developed really fast. Schenectady is a great example of a place that exploded. Syracuse exploded because of the canal system, and these people coming through, and it happened very quickly. And as I mentioned, if we want to pop over to the next slide here, it was an immigrant story. We can pop to the next one. And it was that innovation in industry that really was our thing here. This is Schenectady. You've got one of the first GE buildings there on the left-hand side.
Erie Boulevard, right?
Yep. Erie Boulevard.
Now they really did use My Gal Sal with
Absolutely.
The mules.
Yep, they used mules.
And they pulled them along the sides, right?
Pulled them along the sides. There's a towpath on the side, the boat's in the water, the mule's a couple hundred yards ahead, and there's a rope that connects the two. And as the mule walks, the boat's pulled along with it. So
and the amazing thing is that it was not that deep either.
4 feet deep. And 28 feet wide at the bottom, 40 feet across the top.
Isn't that
something? Very small thing. That was the very original canal. It went through several enlargements. The barge canal system that we have today and that you'll see in your backyard is much bigger, totally mechanized, totally different type of system. But it's the oldest continuously operating canal system in the nation.
Right, with the locks.
With the locks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's keep looking.
So yeah, please pop on here. So there's really no place quite like it. As I said, it was designated by an act of Congress. It celebrates that story, and our vision is to take that past that we just talked about and really use that to inspire the future. There, GE was here in Schenectady. There were all kinds of things that developed.
The city that lights and hauls the world.
The city that lights and hauls the world. These were things that people created. that was a product of these folks who really wanted to do good, and they had the confidence, they had the can-do attitude that we can do this. And when we look at what we have today, and we look at trying to reform ourselves and revision ourselves for how we look at the future, that's a great story to build on. And that's what the National Heritage Corridor is all about. Mm-hmm. It's inspiring the communities, the schools, the museums, the cultural institutions, all of those different organizations to take that spirit of innovation, that can-do attitude, and say, yeah, we can do that too. We can take the next step.
And
we
you
can
really,
keep New York great.
It really is. So let's continue to
Yep.
look, because I love the photos that you brought.
Yeah. So we do three things. We interpret the canal, we preserve the canal, and we promote the canal in three different. Those are our major pieces that we do, and we work with partners to do that. Why don't you go ahead and pop to the next slide here, and so you can go ahead and click through. There's some notes here. So we provide a critical link between different communities, between cultural organizations, between state agencies to make work happen. We draw international attention by bringing in and doing projects that smaller regional organizations can't do. We're a big organization. We have 524 linear miles across upstate New York. We cover the length and breadth of the state. And so that really gives us the leverage to be able to do projects on a large scale, on a broad scale, and bring partners into that process.
Of course, tourism is a big thing. So
Tourism's
if you can,
huge.
everybody knows the Erie Canal. They've heard of it. You grew up in Iowa?
I grew up in Iowa.
Did you know about the Erie Canal?
I did. Yep, I did.
See how far-reaching that is.
It's a story that's told across the nation.
Country. So
Yep.
you already have a piece that will draw people. If you mention it, they know what it is.
Yep.
And so if you could have like tours, bike tours, and all those wonderful things.
Why don't we go ahead and kick, because there's
let's do that.
Yeah, so Bike Across the State, so here we go. So it's a brand. The Erie Canal is a brand, and it's a great brand to market. So the Bike Across the State, it's a program that's done by Parks and Trails New York, one of our partners, and we support them in that effort. They're supported by the New York State Canal Corporation that owns and maintains the system. We work with the communities and the programs and projects on the side and work in partnership with the Canal Corporation, so we're different. But go ahead and kick to the next slide here. And we draw national attention, so we do that in a variety of ways. We've had quite a few different publications done. We have all kinds of videos that go out that support the work. Go ahead and kick to the next slide. And it's really about those vibrant communities. It's those 244 communities that are along the canal system that make up the corridor that are what we're about. We support them. We support their work. We want to see events happening. We want to see marinas being built. We want to see waterfront events, canal trails being linked.
Make them little festivals,
Making festivals,
that type of
I'll
thing.
talk about that in a minute. We do some of that work.
Yeah.
But creating those critical links between those communities, creating awareness of what each other's doing, and creating a sense of unity that draws people to us. It makes it a great place to live, work, and play if you've got a common theme that's going on, and that's what the National Heritage Corridor provides, is that common theme.
And how I met Andy, just to give you a little kind of background on this, you were here to talk about the smartphone tours that you can do just locally. Is that correct?
That's it. The Museum of Science and Technology, which is now MySci, they changed their name. They received one of our grants for some funding to create an audio tour of canal stops in Schenectady. They did 13 stops.
Yeah.
Great little 90-second audio tours. You can walk the whole thing. You can do a couple. You can do it leisurely. And we're seeing things like that pop up all across the state.
It's really great. And technology, we make technology work for us.
Technology can be good.
Yes.
If it's done correctly.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. So Schenectady plays a vital role in all of this. We have all these communities that we work with, and we try to know what each one of them is doing. And you can see all the different things that are happening here in Schenectady. The award for the grant there, that's the panel in the lower right-hand side. That's the audio tour panel that you'll see around Schenectady if you're walking around. We just awarded a grant to the Alco Museum, one of the new museums here in town, to do an exhibition about the relationship between the automobile or the railroads and the canal system.
Right.
So,
well, we're almost out of time. So
almost
we'll
out of time.
wrap up
Let's
here.
pop one.
Okay.
Yep. And Ticket to Ride, we do tours all over the state. We provide funding to schools so that they can take kids to the canal. One of those great things.
What a great educational asset in bringing people into the area, not only to experience New York State,
Yeah.
but to learn as well.
It is,
Yeah.
bringing them in and then reintroducing the canal to the people
Yeah.
who are here. That's what we're all about. It's a good thing.
Andy Kitzmann, and gave us a great lineup here of why you should take some time out and maybe do a staycation. Is that what they call them?
Staycation.
Staycation.
Staycations are good.
Stay in your area and explore what we have. People come from all over the world, all over the country to see this Erie Canal, and it's right here in our backyard. You need to get out and bring your kids and teach them a little bit about it, and Andy will certainly tell you to go to his website, their website, which is
www.eriecanalway.org.
check it out and enjoy our New York State, beautiful New York State. Thank you, Andy, for being here. It's always a pleasure to see you.